This is episode 5 of the Turn-Based Podcast. I am your host, Riku the Best, or the Dark Knight, or Riku X Pain, whichever you prefer to call me. Luscious, beautiful man, whatever you prefer.
Wow, I'm gonna call you Luscious now.
Oh, please don't. Ugh.
Yo, Luscious.
Hello, who are you? I don't know you. Huh? Introduce.
Like, when you walk into a bar, someone just goes up to you like, "Yo, Luscious."
Hey, yo, Luscious. Huh?
It's gonna be like,
I just like, it just turn around with this freaking smirk on my face. Yes.
And I am Vanessa, aka Fruit Cake, aka Fruit, aka Cake. I don't know. I have so many nicknames. But you call me Van Van. I think you're the only
I can call you that.
Really
yes, only I can call you that.
Call me that.
Yes, that is my co-host.
You call me Van Van.
So,
but yeah, holidays just ended. Well, by the time this is posted, it'll be about a week.
Yeah, we should have done that last podcast. I totally forgot about it. Like the whole happy holidays thing.
It didn't happen last podcast, so we probably wouldn't be able to talk about the holidays really, since it didn't happen.
To be fair, you know.
But yeah, the holidays just ended. I hope everyone had a good holiday. What did you do for the holidays, Riku?
Okay, so I called my mom because the whole day it snowed. So there's no way in heck
really?
I'm going downtown through snow to come back to snow. No, it melted now, but literally on Christmas, I was still woke at like 5 a.m. It was snowing. I was like, oh no, people wanted a white Christmas, not me. So yeah.
I mean, white Christmas is nice. I used to live in Colorado where it snowed during the winter season.
Yeah.
And I mean, I liked it because, like, you know, you open your blinds, it's like all white outside and snowing, and it's Christmas, and you're just like, this feels nice. But living in it, like when you have to go outside when it's snowing, oh my God, it's the worst thing.
Yeah, it freaking sucks. So like I said, I spent maybe half the day talking to my mom on the phone since I couldn't go down there and everything. And other than that, I don't think I did too much. Maybe watch some AOT, some Attack on Titan for those people that watch it.
Oh yeah, you haven't watched it.
I am caught up.
Your tweets.
Yo, it's sick.
You're caught up?
Yeah, I'm caught up.
Wait, where did you start?
I only had to watch maybe 20, 25 episodes.
Oh, this whole time I thought like Attack on Titan was like 100 something episodes or something.
No. It's like it releases like every week or month. I think it's like monthly or something like that.
Or, okay.
Or it could be weekly. I'm not exactly sure, but you know, I wasn't too far behind. The season 1. Well, yeah, season 1 came out 2013. Season 2, I don't know, but I know season 3 came out in 2018. So it came out a few years apart. So
got it. You know, I tried Attack on Titan. Couldn't get into it. I think I watched like the first 5 episodes and I was like, eh.
Yeah, the first season I didn't like for some reason.
I heard it gets really good though, like later on. But I'm the kind of person where like something has to hook me on the first like few episodes. Because if it doesn't, then I'm just like, I'm too lazy.
You're gonna throw it in the trash.
Yeah. I'm just like, okay, next thing.
So how was your holiday season, Van?
My holidays were good because I was sick.
And I called you too?
I had to. Yeah, you did call me. I messaged you. I think I messaged you on Discord or something, or I messaged you somewhere.
Yeah, either Discord or you probably texted me. One of those. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, so yeah, since I was sick, I didn't go out with my family. I didn't go visit them or anything. So instead we FaceTimed. We opened our gifts together.
Nice.
It was really cool. I FaceTimed my husband, and then my family was also on there as well. So we're all just like FaceTiming each other, opening gifts and stuff. So it was pretty fun. My parents are pretty hilarious. Got some really thoughtful gifts. Like I don't really like receiving gifts as much as I like giving gifts.
Yeah, same actually.
Yeah. Like I love giving someone something where they're gonna be like, oh my God, I totally need, like, that's my dream. I don't know why. Every Christmas, it is so hard for me to buy gifts for people because like I'm the kind of person who likes to get things that I know people are going to use. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's really hard to buy gifts like that because then you're like, does this person already have this? Do they really need this? You're just like trying to figure out gifts. But I got some really, really thoughtful gifts. And so they're really, really nice. But yeah, it was like probably this year was probably the first Christmas I've ever spent. It's gonna sound so sad, but this is the first Christmas I've ever spent alone.
It's fine. You guys know me. If you know how I spend my Christmas, then that's fine. I'm always sad. I mean, whoops, I didn't mean to say that.
Oh my
No,
god.
no.
Forever alone.
I'm joking.
But yeah, it was just really weird. Because usually my mom throws like a huge party every year. And what I mean huge, it's not just with our family members, it's with our friends. If people on our friends list don't have like a place to hang out, they're always welcome to my parents' house. We've had people like sleep over
Nice.
on Christmas. I don't know. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, it was definitely weird not to have a huge party like that. So for me, it didn't really feel like the holidays happened, which is
Right.
I don't know. That's what it's been feeling like though, because that's the same with Halloween, same with Thanksgiving. Like feels like the holiday season hasn't really happened yet.
Right.
But we're already almost in January, so
it's moving so fast.
So. It is. I mean, it's like that every year, but I feel like this year it's even faster.
I feel like certain periods of this year went super slow. I felt like maybe March, April, just so freaking slow. And then
yeah, like when the first part of the pandemic happened.
Yeah, like the earlier periods of it.
Slowest. Yeah, it was like the slowest month in my life.
So my God. So another thing, if you guys don't know, Vanessa's birthday is going to be on New Year's. Of course, this episode of the podcast will be probably a week after.
Yeah, it'll probably be a week after my birthday, because my birthday's on New Year's. I usually celebrate it on the 31st, so I count down to my birthday and count down to New Year's and stuff like that. So yeah, by the time this podcast comes out, I'll be 31.
Ooh, bet you didn't know that.
I should turn it around. I'm actually 13.
13? Oh, even younger. Yes. Slay. No.
Yeah, I don't know. I get questions like, how does it feel to be like older and stuff? Honestly, I feel like, I don't know. I still feel like a kid. You know what I mean? Like I still get flustered when my parents yell at me for something.
Yeah.
Well, when my parents yell at me for something, that's when I feel like I'm 10 years old.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm just like, I don't feel like a 31-year-old. I feel like a 10-year-old who's just being yelled at their parents. I'm just like,
I feel that probably the other way around when I yell at them, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Other way around, that's when you feel like you're an adult.
Yeah, I still feel bad. Yeah, because it's like they know who you are and know how you were as a kid and everything. So it's like, although you feel like you changed, they see you as that same little kid,
That's true. That is true. Yeah, that's definitely true. I know last Christmas, my mom, bless her heart, but my mom bought me this like lavender purple jacket that I swear to God she found at like the kids section. And so when I opened it, I was like, oh, that's so sweet. But it looks like something I wore when I was like 14.
Right.
It had like the white like fur on the inside, and it was like lavender.
Okay.
It looked like something that like a kid wore like back then. I was like, oh, that's sweet. But
I'm not a kid anymore, Mom.
Yeah. And I think the way she's like, look, it's like your favorite stuff when you were a kid. And I was like,
wow.
Yeah.
It was.
No, she's so sweet though. My parents are pretty super. Yeah, they're sweet.
Yeah, they still try and treat me like a kid. It's like, oh man, can I say I love you? Like, what, you're still my son. I can still say I love you. I don't care if it's lovey-dovey. I'm like, yeah, I love you too.
Your mom's just like, I love you, and then you don't say anything. She's like, say it back. Say it back.
Say it back.
Can't leave the house unless you say you love me back.
Right. Yeah, so it's one thing with parents that never changes, especially of like old-fashioned parents and whatnot. Like,
that is true. Yeah, that is. I feel like I'd be the same way if I had kids. like I'd be like super super protective and just like treat them as kids forever.
Yeah, honestly, I would actually be that same way as well, because I felt like that's how my mom was for me, especially with her mostly raising us, after my dad left and everything. We may get to that a little later, but the fact that she had to raise 4 like boys on her own, and she would work long hours, and like wouldn't really see her at home much because she had to provide for us and everything, keep food on the table. So she
Dude,
didn't really have much choice but to work.
How much food do 4 boys go through, man? That's a lot. That's like, I'm not saying that girls don't eat a lot, but usually like the mindset is that guys eat more, like boys eat more than girls do. So when I was growing up, there was 3 of us, 3 girls, and then across the street from us were 3 boys, and their fridge was always like stocked, but it would always like they would always go through the entire fridge,
pretty much
like,
us.
in like a week.
That might have been us that you're referring to.
Maybe I'm talking about you guys. I don't know. Maybe
you guys look different.
Like you guys. But that's a lot of food.
Yeah, we go through a lot of food. We move numerous of times. Like, I know you move a lot because of like your husband and everything. You get to live here for a certain amount of years, but we also been through house after apartment and house and stuff like that. We've been back and forth. It was a big struggle, honestly, as a kid growing up and everything. More so pressure on my mom, not my dad, because he wasn't really there, but more so pressure on my mom because she had to like, still work at the same, like keep her same job, but move all over the place, maybe a longer commute she had to do, she's a strong-willed person, strong-hearted person, honestly. Like, looking back on the things that she have provided for us, and it's like, yo, she was out here grinding, dude.
The parents were the true grinders.
Oh, 100%. I think that's where I get it from, honestly. Like, the fact that she has done so much, because we have moved like so much far away from her job and whatnot, and she would still like take public transportation because we didn't have a car. Our dad had a car, but like I said, he wasn't really with us for a long period of time because it was little something with the family. Like, he didn't like what my oldest brother was doing, so he just left the house, and then it just left my mom just to take care of all of us and whatnot. So it was a bit of a scramble for me as far as childhood. I mean, sure, there's pros and cons, obviously, so it wasn't like all bad,
So actually going to childhood, the biggest topic we wanted to talk about or touch on today was bullying. And I don't know your experience with bullying. I only know my experiences. I don't think we've ever personally talked about your experience about bullying.
Vaguely talked about it in the car onto what was it, Barnes and Nobles or whatever store we went into. We vaguely talked about it in the car.
Oh yeah, we did. Did we go to Barnes and Nobles? Wow.
Yeah, because you were looking for some manga that they didn't have.
Yeah, Junji Ito book. Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking for Junji Ito and they didn't have it. See, I like. The book collection. Like, my memory is questionable because I choose to remember. I don't choose to remember. It just happened randomly, but something like that. Me going to Vegas, I'm not gonna forget any part of that. Honestly, this is one of the most exciting things that ever happened to me. Honestly.
But yeah, with bullying. So, what are your experiences with bullying?
Oof. So, okay, so. Growing up in my household, youngest of 4 brothers in total, including me. So 3 other older brothers, and like, my family is definitely overprotective. 100%. Whenever something happens, the other person just rush to, see what happened or just try and figure out to solve it and everything. But yeah, as far as like, let's see, elementary school, I think I started getting bad grades around like 2nd, 3rd grade because I don't know, it was just hard for me to pay attention in general. I mean, I have ADHD, but I didn't really know that as a kid and whatnot. So it's just hard for me to concentrate and just focus on one thing. I don't think my parents knew. So it's just kind of hard for me and everything. And it didn't really help when my older brother was the one that was bullying me as well. So it's like, it was a thing that happened in school and at home. So whenever like my mom would go to work, my brother would just have me do this and that, bring him food, bring him that. And, I think that's where the problem stems from, like, as far as like insomnia. Like, I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know how I went to sleep as a kid, because like my brother would just keep me up like running errands, do this and do that. When I was old enough to go to the store, he had me do that back and forth. And like I said, we stayed in a really unsafe, bad neighborhood and whatnot. So like it's like I was just pretty much like doing this, everything for him or whatnot. Like just, I don't know, being like a lackey.
Your brother just sending you on level 50 quests when you were
Yo, pretty much. Yo, he's sending me out here with level 1 armor. Like, dude, can I get like a diamond sword or something? Hello?
But you know, that's one of the hardest things about bullying is some people have this, I guess, idea that bullying is just what you can see and it happens at school and it happens with strangers. But actually, bullying can happen anywhere and with anybody. It could happen with bullies can be from family members. It could be from close friends. Bullying could come from everything. And I think the hardest thing to see is when a bully is someone that you know, that personally or is very close to personally. At least for me, that's where bullying came from. I personally wasn't super bullied. I was bullied in elementary, but it wasn't to like a crazy extent. For me, my experiences with bullying came from close friends in middle school and like throughout high school and even like the first year of college. It's definitely harder to, I guess, identify bullies or toxic people in your life when they're the person closest to you, if that makes sense, you know? So yeah, it's I guess it's one of those things where you're so close to that person and you care so much for them that you kind of make excuses for the reasons that you make excuses for what they do, you know? Yeah, that's what happened with me. So when my close friends were bullying me, I always gave them excuses. I always told myself, oh, it's because, you know, they come from a broken family or they come from, you know, a very toxic household. I would just make excuses, continuous excuses for these people. And instead of putting my well-being first, I always, you know, tried to make sure they were okay, never making sure I was okay with everything, you know? I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, so like it stopped eventually sometime in high school, because I was bullied in school as well, because, you know, I was just a nerd, you know, a guy in school like playing games. So I didn't have many friends. I had a few friends, and everything, but I was like that. I don't know, like I was always somehow a standout, I guess, from everyone else in my school. And I remember one time, I think I was leaving high school, and I think I got out at a different time than my friend did. So we all have this one path right down the street before we go to like the bus stop and everything. I don't remember, this was like 10th, 11th grade. And keep in mind, I'm typically always the youngest in my class since I started school early.
Mm-hmm.
So any class I'm in, I'm generally like the youngest and the smallest. So it's like
they always pick on the youngest and smallest kids.
Yeah. So like when I remember one day when I went home from school, I was just walking down, and next thing I know, I was at a bus stop and I regained consciousness. So because I think my friend saw what happened, or someone far away saw what happened, and like once I came back to, my friend was telling me, yeah, someone came by, like it was someone, all I remember, the person was tall, and the guy just like had hit me, and I lost conscious from that point on. So I
didn't know this person at all. Like,
nah.
That is crazy.
Yeah, like that. I mean, that goes back into the school I went to and everything, and just the surroundings. Like I went to high school in a project, so it wasn't exactly the safest. So yeah, like I said, once I got back to the bus stop and everything, I regained conscience and slightly remember what happened. I remember going home, our brother telling me what happened. I wouldn't say anything.
Your brother saw this.
Well, because I had like a knot on my head and everything. So Yeah, it was
good.
visible. Once I got home, my brother would say what happened. I didn't say anything. I just went upstairs. I think I put on some Paramore or something, just listen to music. And I think my brother just got so mad. He like drove up to the school or went up to the school. I don't know what had happened and everything, but yeah, like high school wasn't really a pleasant experience for me, aside from just meeting the few friends that I did. We all drew and played games. We all hung out and like played Naruto on the PS2 and stuff like that, and just had a fun time.
Yeah, it's. I think gotta clear your throat. The feels. No, definitely high school, especially middle school and high school. I feel like are the hardest for people in general, for kids in general. Especially on top of that, if you're being bullied, it's so hard to really understand why you're being bullied, and understand the reasons why this person's treating you like this. And it's almost, I guess, for me, when I was bullied, I mean, I wasn't super bullied like that, but yeah, there was definitely bullying. Like, I always felt like it was something that I did. You know, I don't know if you ever felt that way, but whenever I got bullied, I thought, oh, maybe I did something wrong, or maybe I said something or something like that. It goes back to making excuses again for the person, you know? And yeah, so those like middle school and high school is definitely like the hardest times, because you're at that age also, you're trying to be friends with everybody. I think the older I got, the more I realized that I'm much more picky with the people I hang out with. Whereas middle school and high school, I was like, I just got to be friends with everybody. I just want to be popular. I just want everyone to like me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're so engrossed of just like pleasing everyone else instead of really like seeing the people that you really vibe with. And I think, yeah, as the older I got and the more experience I had, that's when I realized, like, yeah, I can be friends with people, but my close friends, like, I'd rather have like a small circle of quality friends than be, you know, have like a gigantic circle of just people I kind of know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess, oh man, that's crazy, because our experiences with bullying are both pretty different, because you experienced the physical aspect of it. I mean, I had some physical altercations, but mine was more verbal and mental abuse.
Oh yeah,
Whereas
that's
yours was probably also mental, because I mean, physical abuse can definitely wreck your mentality as well.
yeah, that's part of the reason why I kind of have like depression nowadays. I mean, it's been fine as of late. Whenever I like I said, I think I've said this like in the first podcast or second podcast or whatever. Whenever I get sad, I just call Vanessa, or you know, I talk to someone, and like if I'm not feeling well and I feel it okay, I just straight up call her. Honest, I don't even hesitate.
Oh man, because you're not the first person who said that to me, and I've had friends call me and stuff like that. It's so weird, because you guys come, and I'm so honored that you guys like come to me and you guys can trust me with your stories and your feelings. But I feel like I'm the most underqualified like psychiatrist, or like
I don't think
know.
it's the fact that's like knowing all everything. It's just the fact that having someone to talk to.
That's true.
Because
Yeah.
I like whatever issue I had like back in the past, I would keep it to myself. I wouldn't tell my family about it. I would try to find some way to deal with it, or I would just overcome it eventually. I would have that mindset. I wouldn't talk to them about anything. And I didn't have that one person that I could just vent to.
Yeah. I think what some people don't realize is that bullying makes you grow faster. Like, it makes you have to become an adult at a younger age, you know? And I feel like it's such a sad thing to have to go through, especially when your younger years are supposed to be fun and exciting, and the time that you find yourself and find what you're passionate about. So I know you started YouTube in high school, you said?
Yeah, it was all that was typically around the same time. So I'm thinking 15, 16.
So I'm guessing that was kind of your escape then, right?
100%.
I think that's the same with me. When I was going through like the mental and verbal abuse, I turned to video games and cosplay a lot more when it happened, and then even more after I cut it off with those people, you know. And that's the best feeling too. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but when I stopped being friends with toxic people, when I had cut those toxic people out of my life, it was the best like feeling. It felt like I went from 0 to 100, because after that, I started working, I started streaming, I started cosplaying more. And it just launched, I guess, my career-ish. I guess.
I feel like you just wanted to be a better person, because like you see how not to be. So
exactly. And you don't realize how much being with those kind of people holds you down. You know, you don't realize, even if you're not hanging out with these people very often, or even if you think that they don't have an effect on you, just being surrounded by negative, toxic people really weighs down your mood. It makes you not want to work as hard. It makes you unmotivated. That's why now I try to surround myself with people who motivate me, people who I admire, and people who have good qualities that I want in myself. You know what I mean? So I think that's, I guess, how we dealt with it, was just going through our passions, just working a lot, right?
Yeah, like I said, YouTube was definitely a big escape for me and everything, because around that time is when Facebook was out, and I did, like I said, you know, being from the high school that I went to, I didn't want to associate with anybody there. So, you know, I went to YouTube. I chat with people on YouTube at the time when YouTube had a chatting system. You can actually DM each other and talk with each other. They took all that out now.
Sorry, yeah, I wasn't.
YouTube had Chat Tango. They had like where you can go to a different chat site and just have like emojis there and stuff like that. And yeah, it's so much different than it is now. Like, I'm actually gonna show you a picture, like after this podcast, like show you pictures of how the layout of YouTube profiles worked, where you can have like music on your channel, and it was kind of like a MySpace type of thing.
Like a MySpace.
You can have like a background on your page or whatnot. And that was honestly my happy place, where I went to just role play some Donnie stories and some Wars characters with people I actually like, and just just have an enjoyable time, because I didn't really IRL, you know, but
actually going to online. So I did tweet out, you know, if anyone had any questions and stuff like that for our topic for this podcast. And actually a good one that that our friend Wanta a fern plant. We call him Wanta.
I call him Water, but go for it.
I don't know why. But so yeah, we're going back to being online. His question is, do you think bullying in person is worse than online bullying? Has bullying worsened over time, or are you just more aware that bullying is happening? That is a good question.
I want to say bullying has probably always been out there. I mean, nowadays with how social media is and pretty much anything is publicized, people might think it's happening more or less, but I think it's still happening around the same. During this period of time, maybe a little less physically in person because of COVID, social distance, but it is definitely still happening online, whether it be with streamers or, you know, with people you think are friends. And I mean, it's still a thing. It's still a thing. Go ahead, Vanessa.
I agree with that. Like, I feel like bullying's always been a thing, but I feel like being online and having a presence, and some of these bullies having like a platform to bully on, I think that's definitely brought out a lot of people who maybe don't consider themselves bullies, but have bully tendencies online. And I think it's easier for them to act that way because there's not any repercussions from that. You know, they're hiding behind a screen, hiding behind a keyboard.
Right.
I think now bullying is just more accessible because I could, if I wanted to be a bully, I could literally go on someone's Instagram and just say a bunch of mean things instead of having to find that person, walk up to that person and say things to their face. I could just say it online. You know what I mean?
Anything
And I
happens to
think,
that account, you can just make another one. You know, there's nothing stopping you for just repeating that same process online, you know?
Exactly. And I think, unfortunately, I feel like people don't treat bullying online as seriously as bullying in person, which I wish they would do, because I feel like so many people are online, so many people who are younger, who probably don't understand how to deal with being online and having strangers, you know, tell you things, comment things to you. I feel like I wish that bullying online was taken more seriously, because there's a lot of instances where someone was bullied online to the point where something happened, you know? And, you know, it's easy to stalk people online.
Yeah.
There's a lot of experiences. I've had really weird, really creepy experiences with people online, probably more online than I have in person, honestly.
That's why I try to tell you to be careful and everything. Although I know you're a smart person and everything, but I still get a little worried and whatnot. So.
I know, but that's because we're siblings. Okay. No, and I super appreciate that. Like, yeah, I think luckily for me, I grew up with such a good support system of friends and family members. And I feel like I'm at this point where I understand when something is ill-intentioned, you know, online. If someone says something, I know that this person's just trying to make me mad or trying to have me react. And I'm pretty good at like distinguishing between what you call it, just constructive criticism versus just hate. Yeah, like I think I'm pretty good at distinguishing between the two, which is why when someone says something to me online, it doesn't really get to me at all, just because I know the kind of person I am. I know who my real friends are, whose opinions really matter.
Right. 100%.
But that's stuff that I had to learn. You know what I mean? That's definitely not how I used to be back then, for sure.
So my thing is, through the experiences that we had as far as being bullied and whatnot, not a lot of other people may share that. So I'm thinking, because we came to this like mindset, you know, from what happened in the past and everything. So I'm thinking, how would just a normal person like develop mentally? Like how would they be, I mean, without these experiences to make them stronger, and, you know, all these hardships through life? Like how would they come to learn about that stuff? Because I'm sure a lot of people do go through experiencing bullying in like high school. That's definitely a common phase, like middle school, high school and everything. But then there's those people who don't exactly. So how do you become a stronger person from not experiencing that and whatnot?
I think that's where empathy and sympathy come into play. I think definitely people need to, if they've never experienced bullying, I think they need to start paying attention to people who are around them. I think us being able to talk about our experiences and talk about what we've had to go through, I think also helps the situation as well as a whole. Because yeah, there are people who look at us, you know, you, me, people online, even more popular streamers and YouTubers. A lot of people look at them and are like, oh, they don't seem like they've ever been bullied. Oh, it seems like, you know, they had a perfect life and stuff. But yeah, we like, everyone goes through stuff. Doesn't matter if they're a popular streamer or not a popular streamer, or a big YouTuber or not a big YouTuber. Everyone goes through things. And I think just having empathy and listening to the stories and being active against bullying, whether or not you see it or hear it, or if it's going on around you, like just standing up for that person or standing against the whole bullying, I think helps a lot. And I think that's how people can can understand what people who were bullied go through or went through.
So I want to think of it from like the other perspective. What do you think the idea of bullying comes like? What do you think it comes from? So what I want to throw into that as well is like, I'm thinking it can't just be like, oh, this person's like in my situation where, like I said, my brother had me do this and that. It wasn't because he was lazy. I didn't know at the time. And, you know, I probably still don't know, but I can only have assumptions as to why he did what he did. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if he just wanted more attention because honestly, out of all my brothers, the one that treated me the worst was the one that was given the most and everything. So it's like, he could have been spoiled, maybe so, maybe not. I can't understand that type of person's mind, honestly, to do something like that. And honestly, there's no like hatred or spite in my heart for that. If anything, I tell everybody, you learn from your experiences. You know, I'm not gonna stoop to his level to hate him or whatnot just because he did bad things to me. You know, I'm just gonna stick it out. I'm gonna stay positive. I'm just gonna try my best not to be that type of person. You know, and just it's just a thought in my head because honestly, I've had like lots and lots of nightmares, and it all stems from childhood. And it's like, oh man. it gets rough. I don't want to get like super in depth with it because it can get pretty brutal. But yeah, like I still have lots of nightmares nowadays and stuff like that, and a lot of stuff during childhood definitely sticks with you. And I still don't understand the mind of like a bully, I guess.
And that's the thing. Like, I don't think someone's born evil.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. We're all impacted by many factors. And I think at this point, we will never be able to quite understand why someone bullies someone. It could be something as simple as, I don't like that person's race. Or it could be something more intense or more elaborate, like, oh, my family back home is broken. My dad beats me. I'm going to put that pain and project it on someone else. It can be any reason, any factor. At this point, I feel like if you do want to figure out the reason why, then figure out the reason why. But I feel like the only thing you can control when you're being bullied is how it affects you and how you grow from that or be affected by it afterwards. I feel like even if you were to ask your bully, well, why did you bully me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can give you any fact. They can give you any answer. Or they just maybe don't know why themselves they bully, you know? I don't think the reason is going to give closure as a lot of people think it does. I think what will give you closure if you have been bullied or being bullied is learning that there are things that you can control and can't control. And the things that you can control, try to make that into a positive. Because there's so many ways that it can affect you. And so if I were to give any advice to anyone who's being bullied, I would tell them, take that experience and turn it into something that you can grow from, because you can't control what that person did to you. You can only control what effect it has on you.
Yeah, for me, it stopped after a certain point, although I didn't understand it to begin with. You know, it wasn't happening forever. So that's the plus side of it, because once I get old enough, I was like, okay, I'm not taking no more crap, you know, to where a point I feel like I could actually like defend myself. You know, it's stopped happening and whatnot, and things happen. Yeah, I think life just generally got better once I surrounded myself with more positive people and not in that same environment. Because part of the reason I feel like, well, I was just in a bad space in general, just where we live, where I went to school. But like I said, once college began, I think I went to school 2 hours away from where I lived. So my college was actually pretty far. from where I stayed. And, that's when my whole mindset changed and I just had a different experience. It wasn't the usual little bubble that I'm used to being in and these type of people and this environment. I was in a whole new environment dealing with, just experiencing new things, meeting different types of people, whether they had personal, it's kind of hard for me to explain it because I don't want to say the wrong thing. Well, it's so hard for me to explain. I just met different types of people that weren't exactly just male or female or didn't know what they want to classify as. Just understanding and learning pretty much. But it was one thing I wanted to get to. Oh, so honestly, I think I've come to the conclusion that there are certain types of people in the world that you're not meant to understand. And I've come to that conclusion. I'm not meant to understand maybe, X this type of person or that type of person. I try not to worry about it as much anymore. If they're the negative, toxic person that they are, let them be them. As long as you're not affecting me, have nothing to do with me. I'll worry about, my circle of friends or about myself and bettering, just bettering me, because like I said, I don't think everyone is meant to understand every single person. And
exactly. Yeah. And also it goes vice versa, right? I don't think people are not meant to understand each other completely, and that's okay. There's people you vibe with and people you don't vibe with, and that's something that you realize the older that you get too.
Oh yeah.
You realize that you meet so many people in life, and some stick and some don't, and some are stick around for a phase and then disappear. That's just life. The only thing you can control is how those people have an impact on you as a person and where you take that experience or how you deal with that experience. So yeah, going back to because we actually had a lot of questions on the tweet. I guess a lot and that just goes to show that everyone goes through it, you know? So to have all of you guys responding on Twitter is crazy. I'm not surprised because, like I said, everyone goes through some form of bullying and stuff. But yeah, this comes from Anime Lover. How to deal with online bullying. For example, when do you stay silent when someone makes a slander at your work? At what point do you stop being silent and take action? And how do you do it without escalating the situation? Do you have any?
So he said from online, right?
Yes. So how do you deal with people who slander your work? Do you ever respond? When do you respond?
Me personally, I've had a situation like that to where it was just someone wanting attention, wanting more clicks. And this actually happened in one of the communities. And because, I was called this and that name. I won't obviously say it, but the person is no longer around. And simply, I just gave him no attention.
Yeah, actually, I feel like if people are like that, if someone's
especially
intentionally
online,
trying to get a reaction from you, I just ignore it. Because what they really want is a reaction from you. So don't give them one, block and then move on because that person's just a falling leaf, somewhere else,
somewhere blowing in the wind and,
I think the only time I'll ever interact with someone who's being a bully is when I genuinely want to know if there's something going on with them. I've had messages where someone has said something to me online and then I message it and I'll be like, hey, what you said is uncalled for, but whatever you're going through, I hope whatever it is, you feel better. Because projecting that anger and that pain on other people online isn't going to help the situation. Yeah, it's not going to bring you out of your bad situation by putting someone else in a bad situation or in a bad mood isn't going to help you get out of your bad situation or bad mood. You know what I mean? And actually that person messaged me back and was just like, yeah, I'm going through some things. Sorry about that. Yeah. It's very, very rare. But when it happens, you're just like,
oh. yo, right? Facts.
But I mean, if it's something with work, if someone, let's say, said something about my cosplay or something like that, or I don't know. If it's something that I feel like isn't constructive criticism, I honestly don't give it any attention, because I already know whose opinions matter to me, and it's definitely not some random stranger online who's never cosplayed in his life or her life that I don't care for at all, you know?
Yeah. So I would honestly probably just ignore the person, you know, because in Vanessa's case, it's very rare to when you actually respond to them and just trying to figure out like, is everything, because you never know what's going on the other side of the computer for them as well. You know, they could be going through some things with life and whatnot, and just I guess whenever something bad happens, they don't know how to direct their emotion, and they just somehow type it out and just kind of do it that way, and just in a negative way to whoever it may be. But yeah, that's a rare scenario, but it still does happen. But my advice personally, I would definitely just ignore it.
Yeah.
Give it no attention. Trust me, words online definitely hurt a lot. I definitely know that. I can be sensitive at times. I tell a lot of people that. I'm getting a little better at it.
And it's not a bad thing. Like, a lot of people are like, oh man, then I have to be like this strong person. If I want to like make it in, I don't know, online and stuff, I have to be this really strong person who can't have anything hurt them. That's not true. Like, things honestly still get to me, but it's all like, it's okay to feel hurt or feel sad when something or someone makes you feel that way. But in the end, what's more important is how that sadness or that feeling that that person made you feel, what you do with that after is what's more important. You know, you can feel sad, you can feel all the emotions at that moment, but what are you going to do with it after? You know? And I think that's what determines whether someone deals with it in a good way or a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So yeah, I don't know. That got deep.
Yeah, this whole podcast is deep. This whole episode is deep, woman. But
yeah.
What about, did you ever go over your experiences, childhood experiences with bullying?
So my childhood experiences, so elementary, that was the only time really that I was ever like bullied. I would have like, because I was the only like Asian person in my class in elementary. I remember it was like either second or third grade or something like that. It was me and my best friend who were like the few Asian people in that class, and we got bullied by, you know, some random girl who was actually a bully to everyone. So it wasn't that she was specifically targeting us, it was like everyone. But I remember this one time I was specifically targeted because when I was a kid, there was this TV show of like some Asian detective. I think it was on Disney Channel or something, or Nickelodeon. I don't even remember, because I don't think I even watched that TV show.
Right.
I think the only time I ever found out who those kids were calling me was when I actually like looked it up, and then I was like, oh, this is the person they were calling me. I don't remember the name. I don't remember the TV show's name or anything like that. But I just remember, because I was Asian, like they would just call me that, or, you know, they would do the whole like chinky eyes and stuff. Because when I was younger, I had the like really, really small eyes and stuff. So yeah, I had kids who did that. But other than that, when I hit middle school and high school, and then I started making friends in middle school, those friends became the bullies. And it goes, that's like the story I'm talking about with the whole like verbal and mental abuse. It was a lot of them putting me down. It was a lot of them saying backhanded compliments. It was just constant, just verbal, mental abuse. If I was friends with someone they didn't like, I couldn't be friends with that person. Like it was just constant, just drama in middle school and high school, and even part of college. It wasn't until like maybe my first year of college where I was just like, I'm done. I'm done. You know, and I think that was what the hardest thing was, because in my head I was like, these people have seen me through like my worst, when I had my surgery, when they've known me since middle school throughout like college. I was like, these friends are like the people who know a lot about me. So I was so scared of losing them that I just continued to make excuses for them. I made excuses for why they would bully me or say those things. I blamed myself most of the time for the things that they were saying. And because of the things they were saying, a lot of stuff stemmed from that. I'm not going to go into detail because they're pretty dark, but a lot of like my depression and body dysmorphia comes from that situation. So, but I have learned to like deal with that. I'm not going to say that I don't struggle with those things anymore. I still do, but it's stuff that I know I can handle. And there are ways that I handle it now that help me get through things that happened in the past. So yeah, that's that's my experiences.
I'm just keeping my composure over here. But any other questions?
Any other? Oh yeah, let me.
Sorry, I need to laugh every now and then because otherwise it'll get to me.
You're like the You're like I wouldn't say nervous laughter. You nervous laugh. I think also when things get really tough, I think you like mask it by laughing or like thinking of something funny.
I try, yeah.
Yeah. But that's how you cope with it, right?
Typically, yeah. Nowadays, it's like, well, yeah. Let's just say that. Let's just say that. But I'm fine now. I'm fine now and everything. But you know.
Yeah, I don't want. Oh my god, I don't. We're probably going through all this negative stuff, and people are like, "Are they
okay?" Yeah. We're fine. We're fine. Don't worry. Yeah, we're fine.
I just want to emphasize it's okay to have good. It's okay to have bad days. It's okay to have good/bad days once in a while. It doesn't make you. It's not something to be super alarmed about. It doesn't make you less of a person or anything like that. Everyone has good or bad days. It's all about what you do with those good and bad days in the end. If you learn from it and you become a better person, I feel like that's better than redirecting that pain onto someone else. And I think that's why a lot of bullies bully other people, because they have so much like pain and stuff going on with them that they want everyone else to feel that way too. You know,
that's a good way to think about it.
As for questions, let's see. Social point, negativity, and negativity that bars you from doing certain activities, traveling, going to social events, etc. For sure. Like there's days where I have bad days where I'm just like, I don't want to do anything. You know.
I was not used to leaving my house.
So yeah, you don't really travel.
Like,
but
even,
I mean,
even during those times, sorry. And I was gonna say, I remember this one friend I had like in grade school. We played games and stuff. I never really hung out much with them like outside of school because I mean, a lot of times I couldn't go out, you know, because my brother and everything. So it's like, I mean, I did have some good times to where I wasn't always playing games and like watching anime on TV and stuff. Like, I mean, I play like sport, not in school, but we play like sports and stuff with my brothers and everything. Like we played basketball, we played football. So I actually got out of the house as a kid. Yes, I do go outside. But what was the original question again?
How does the negativity bar you from doing, I guess, everyday stuff? You know what I mean?
I don't like talking to people as much anymore. In my environment, like well, those are my experiences from my family and the jobs that I had, that I don't like really talking to people. And because it would just be, I don't like, it's not that I don't like dealing with people. It's just the fact that I have my own issues, I guess. And it's kind of hard to take on someone else's. And the fact that Other people's mindset, I mean, it's just pretty hard to explain it, honestly. Like, it's like I have problems of my own and everything, so it's like, such a drag and whatnot. But I don't know if that was a good way of explaining it, but I can't really think of too much, honestly. Can you add more to that?
Going back to that, right? That's a good thing that you do, because you're not only thinking about yourself, but you're thinking about the other person, right? For me, if I'm in a bad state of mind, I'm not going to give advice to someone else who's in the same state of mind. Because I feel like if I'm in a bad state of mind and someone goes to me for their problems, I'm not going to be able to listen and give the best advice that I can if I were in a good state of mind. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, you're not in the right mindset to give advice.
It's true. Like, we all have our own baggage, and sometimes when people come to you, it just adds on too much, you know? And it's not a selfish thing. You're more thinking about yourself and the other person at the same time, you know? But yeah, as for negativity, yeah, like sometimes there are days where I just don't want to do anything. There are days where I don't want to stream. Streaming is a little bit different though, because for me, when I am having a bad day, I actually enjoy streaming. I like going on stream and chatting with my community and stuff like that, because sometimes when I'm having a bad day and I stream something, I end up having a good day, or they end up, you know, getting me out of that rut, because I'm always inside my head a lot. So yeah, sometimes it just depends. It just depends. Like, if I'm having a really, really bad day and I know I'm having a really bad day, I'll, you know, take a break, take a mental break, read a book, listen to music. Music is like a huge thing for me. That I love listening to music no matter what kind of mood I'm in. So yeah, I guess it's just the way I deal with it is I find joy in small things that I enjoy doing. You know, I don't have to go out to be happy. I don't have to spend money to be happy. I don't have to meet friends to be happy. It's all about what I can do, you know, in my safe space, what I can do in here that actually gives me joy or makes me happy, you know? So yeah, I guess that's how I deal with it. But let me see if we have any other cool answers or questions. Not answers, questions. Or topics.
Yeah.
Questions. I think we pretty much like covered everything that everyone was like asking. Yeah, like, people deal with bullying in different ways. There's no right or wrong way to deal with it. I think the only wrong way would be to make others feel as bad as you're feeling. I think that's the worst thing you can do. I definitely don't think you should do that.
Yeah, definitely. No.
And don't, yeah, and I guess my biggest advice for someone who's going through bullying, there's things you can and can't control, you know? Just find solace in knowing that you're the better person and you can control how something affects you in the long run. And there's just, yeah, some people you just can't change. As much as you would like to change them, you can't. So it's how it is.
Yep, it's just how it is, you know?
It's how it is. And I think that just goes to show, like, so much. I actually wanted to be a psychiatrist before I got into like streaming and stuff like that. I wanted to be a student counselor. I wanted to be a psychiatrist. That stuff just fascinates me, because there's so many different personalities when it comes to just people in general. And there's so many factors that can affect and shape how someone acts, how someone talks, how someone, you know, treats others, or their personality in general, you know? And that stuff fascinates me, because it's not more of like, I want to understand, because I don't think we're ever going to be able to 100% understand
completely
what affects somebody, because it's very case by case. But I like to try my best to experience the different personalities, because I feel like
I just like learning, honestly.
Yeah, I like learning too. Like, learning about people is one of like
different types of people. And what?
People, dude, I was a people watcher when I was in middle school and high school. I just sat in the freaking lunchroom, just watched people, see how people reacted and acted and talked with their friends and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was more so that like college from that point on to where I felt a little more comfortable being around these people because I was in a school full of people who liked games, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, okay, I'm in a better space now, different environment. And then I began to learn about people. I mean, there were some scumbags still there, but you know, you're always going to be in it. There's no perfect paradise unless you're in a space with your friends, of course. But if you're like in a public place, just assume that not everyone is like all angel and all nice and stuff like that. But they're a-holes in real life, have jobs, a-holes online. It's going to happen because it's just how different people are, you know?
Yeah. There's always going to be someone who doesn't like what you're doing.
Yep.
Always. It doesn't matter if what you're doing is being a homebody. Someone out there is not going to like you or like what you're doing.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. I mean, you're not here on earth to please everyone. You know, you're here to live your life, do what you enjoy doing, as long as you're not hurting anyone else. Like, don't let anyone tell you that you can't do what you're passionate about, you know? Because like if I listen to every negative comment that someone gave me about my cosplay, about streaming, even about how I look or how I act, I wouldn't be happy. I would be this whole different person. I would be so secluded. I'd be so tired, exhausted, mentally drained. Like you can't listen to what everyone says about you or thinks about you.
Yeah, when I was younger, I always cared about how other people thought of me. And nowadays I just stopped caring because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think that's age, man.
Yeah.
When I got older, I got less patience for people.
I have zero patience nowadays, man. It shows in everything I do. And I get that from both my parents. Neither one. More so my dad than mom. My mom is a little patient, but I mean, she's like 63, 64. So eventually she's going to run out of patience and be fed up with whatever she's doing. But, you know, so.
But yeah, I mean, just identify the good and the bad people closest to you and keep the good people with you. Like surround yourself with people that you admire, that have good qualities, that make you motivated and make you want to become a better person. You know, I can't emphasize how much being with toxic friends weighs you down. It's not even like a physical thing, it's a mental thing too.
It's draining.
It's super, super draining. Even if you're not with that person 24/7, like just being around that person's thoughts and personality and just their aura, like it affects you so much more than you think, you know? And if it's someone super, super close, from experience, yeah, it sucks when you realize how bad that person is for you and you have to break it off, you know? I broke it off with someone that I thought was going to be, you know, there for my wedding, there for when I have kids, you know, like we were super, super, super close. And I considered them my best friend. And, you know, it's going to suck. But in the end, it's definitely going to benefit the both of you because sometimes people just need to be by themselves to realize how they're acting and how it affects others, you know? And even, who knows, I don't talk to that person. I don't keep up with that person or what those people are doing. Who knows, maybe they've changed, maybe they haven't, but that's not what I care about. I'd rather spend my time thinking about people who are there for me, spending time thinking about myself, my family. I have so much more time and energy to put in something else than thinking about what this person's doing.
Yep. As a closing thought, my mom always told me this one thing, and that's to make friends. That'll take you a long way. It's such a simple statement, but yeah, it definitely means a lot.
make quality friends.
Quality, everlasting friends, you know? So, yeah, I'm just going to leave it off there. So, we're a little over the hour mark and everything.
Oh, man, we talked a lot. I feel like I talked a lot.
I mean, honestly, a portion of it, I feel like I have talked a lot because as far as like my childhood and everything, I mean, I feel like I talk a decent amount and everything. I don't know like the percentage from who and who, but like I feel like I talked a bit and everything.
I feel like there's a good side to see of Riku too. Like you're so hyperactive and energy, and then to have this, oh, this is serious Riku. Oh, should we name this side of Riku the serious
man. That is it. Episode 5. Is this episode 5? Oh. The dark night. What? No.
Talking about the dark, deep.
The deep dark night. Stop it. Stop stroking your chin. Stop it. We're going to end episode 5 here. Cut. We're done.
Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed it.